Paul, who's the real Jew? Romans 2:28-29. Who's the real Jew? For he is not a Jew who's one outwardly, end of story, nor circumcision that which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Jew who is one inwardly, being circumcised spiritually by the Spirit. That happens at your baptism. And circumcised that which is the heart by the Spirit, not by the letter, and his praise is not from men, but from God. Can we now give this up, Christian Zionism? You have no New Testament basis, so what you're going to do is, you're going to be like Ridvan, you're going to leave the Christian faith. Okay, now, this one, if you haven't heard it before, is going to make you pass out from shock. Pass out from shock. What does he say to the generation of Jews who reject him? Not all Jews. The first believers are Jews. The greatest creature is a Jewish woman. Look what he says to them. Fill up then the measure of the guilt of your fathers. Notice, you are guilty like your fathers. You're following in the footsteps of your fathers. You're continuing the sins of your fathers. And I'm going to now deal with you because enough is enough. Now, please make sure you get this, please. What he's saying is, each generation, if they continue in the sins of their ancestors, will hit a debt ceiling. There'll be one generation that now reaches the full limit of how much God will put up with, and then he wipes you out. So what does he say to them? He says, you are that generation that now hits the debt ceiling. You will now reach the limit of how much sin I put up with from your fathers, generation after generation. You follow in their steps and have not repented, and it ends with you. Okay? The sin started by your fathers, it ends with you because you continue to act like them, behave like them, and in their footsteps that are repenting. Okay, now watch who their father is. You serpents, notice serpent here. You brood of vipers, how will you escape the sentence of hell? On account of this, behold, because of this, I'm sending you prophets, and you're going to now kill them too, persecute them too, because you're going to reach the debt ceiling. How much can I tolerate? And by the way, that shows you Jesus is God, because he sends prophets from heaven. I'm sending you prophets and wise men and scribes. Some of them you will kill and crucify. In other words, you're not going to learn your lesson. You're going to continue doing what your fathers did. You're going to kill some of my prophets, some of my scribes, crucify. Some of them you will flog in your synagogues and persecute from city to city, so that upon you may fall the guilt of all the righteous blood shed on the earth. Notice what he's saying? You're it. You're the last generation. You don't fear God. You don't turn. You continue the deeds of your fathers. You continue in the footsteps of your fathers. You continue to sin, act immorally, persecute the righteous like your fathers did, but it ends with you. And therefore, all that you and your fathers killed, you will be held accountable. But now notice, one of the people that their fathers killed, one of the fathers murdered a righteous, that is the father of the Jews, is the very one who killed Abel. That's one of their fathers. So that upon you may fall the guilt of all the righteous blood shed on earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom you murdered, even though it was not them, but those before them. But they share in the sin by acting like them. You're complicit if you don't condemn it. Murder between the sanctuary and the altar. Truly I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. Wait, he said, you continue the footsteps of your fathers. They are murderers, you're murderers. They were immoral, you're immoral. And you don't stop, you follow in their footstep. Now you are that last generation that hits the debt ceiling, and it's done. It's over. I'm done with you. You've now blasphemed the Spirit. It's over. But one of their fathers was the one who murdered Abel. But Cain did not survive the flood. And Cain is not a physical ancestor of these Jews. Do you understand what he just said? It's not about your physical lineage. It's not about your physical son of Abraham. It's your spiritual lineage. Who is truly your spiritual father? And whose spiritual son are you? It's about your spiritual relationship. You can be a physical Gentile and a spiritual son of Abraham. You can be an ethnic Jew and a spiritual son of Cain. He said, your father is Cain, who murdered the first righteous man, Abel. And then what is the sign that Jesus is fed up with them, done with them, and it's over, he's going to destroy the temple in Jerusalem. So he goes, now this is going to be the sign, I'm done with you. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together, the way a hen gathers her chicks on her wings. You did not want it. So now what am I going to do? Behold, your house is being left to you desolate. I'm now going to wipe out the city and your temple, and that will be the miraculous proof I'm done with you. Jerusalem is done and over with. Jerusalem is not the place where I dwell or I'm pleased with. It's heavenly Jerusalem. For I say to you, from now on, you will not see me until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. And they didn't say it. And if you don't believe me that he's talking about destroying the temple and Jerusalem as a sign, he's done with Jerusalem. The very next chapter is about destroying the temple and Jerusalem. And coming out from the temple, so what house? He just came out of the temple. Jesus was going along, and his disciples came up to point out the temple buildings to him. And he answered, and he said to them, do you not see all these things? True, I say to you, not one stone here will be left upon another, which will not be torn down. Do you remember when we were looking at that stream by, was it Rebel News? And the guy said, look, some of these stones, or whatever they were, are from the time of the second temple. Look at the gold. Okay. Jesus said, the buildings will not stand, right? The Wailing Wall is not one of the buildings. It's an outer wall. Do you understand that when the Jews go to the Wailing Wall and they daven before it, that wall is the reminder to them God has rejected their city, rejected them and their covenant, and God will only restore them when they turn to Christ. So why do Christians go to the Wailing Wall and daven when the wall is a sign? God rejects this place. Jerusalem is Sodom, Babylon, and Egypt. Yep. Not one stone left upon another, right? And they're not left upon another. They're toppled over, showing the Lord's marvelous fulfillment. So then why do they go there? Why do Christians go there and, be davening right there, right? Like Trump did. Like, didn't Rid Vaughn do that too? That is a sign that God rejects Jerusalem, rejects the temple, and that Jerusalem is no longer his place on earth. Why do you go there and do it? If you're a Christian, do you not know you're insulting your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? He said, the stones being toppled over, not one on top of another, and the Wailing Wall, that is the sign, I reject this place. I've destroyed this place. Jerusalem and the temple on earth are no longer my dwelling place. So then what is his dwelling place? What has replaced earthly Jerusalem? But the Jerusalem above is free. She's our mother. Here's the real Jerusalem. Galatians 4:26. Hebrews 12:22-24. But you have come to Mount Zion and to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to myriads of angels, to the festal gathering and assembly of the firstborn who enrolled in heaven, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of the righteous made perfect. What has replaced earthly Jerusalem? The real one, the heavenly one. Of the righteous made perfect, and to Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood, which speaks better than the blood of Abel. What are you not getting, New Testament Christians? Galatians 4:26. But the Jerusalem above is free. She is our mother. Heavenly Jerusalem. Revelation 21:1-4. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth passed away, and there's no longer sea. What's going to now be on earth? The heavenly Jerusalem. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. God is going to bring heavenly Jerusalem down to the earth. What are you fascinated with the earthly Jerusalem for? You don't consume animals with blood in it, dude. Made ready as a bride, adorned for a husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is among men, and he will dwell among them, and they shall be his people. And God himself will be among them, and he'll wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will no longer be any death. There will no longer be any mourning or crying or pain. The first things passed away. Revelation 21:9-14. Watch here. Then one of the 7 angels who have the 7 bowls full of the 7 last plagues came and spoke to me, saying, come here, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb. What's the bride of the Christ? Earthly Jerusalem. He carried me in the Spirit, there's the Holy Spirit, to a great high mountain, showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. Why are you fascinated with earthly Jerusalem? Maga, you're still alive, Maga? You guys are silent. Having the glory of God, her brilliance was like precious stone, as a stone of crystal clear jasper. It had a great and high wall, 12 gates, and at those gates, 12 angels, and names have been written on those gates, which are names of the 12 tribes, the sons of Israel. There were 3 gates on the east, and 3 gates on the north, and 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. Now, what's the foundation of the gates that keep the city, the temple of Jerusalem, afloat? And the wall of the city had 12 foundation stones, and on them were the 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Not Old Testament prophets, but the holy apostles of our beloved Christ. They're the foundation of heavenly Jerusalem. So what was earthly Jerusalem? Let me show you. Ready? What was the earthly temple? You ready? Already in the Old Testament, God already revealed to the Jews, the earthly temple is a picture of the heavenly one. Here, Exodus 25, 8-9. And let them make a sanctuary for me, that I may dwell among them. Here's the key. According to all that I'm going to show you. Notice, God is going to show him the design for the earthly tabernacle. As the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all its furniture, just so you shall make it. Please pay attention. God already hinted. Moses, I'm going to show you how to build the earthly one. So he's going to show him the design upon which the earthly one will be based. Okay? Exodus 25:40. And see that you make them after the pattern for them, which was shown to you on the mount. So you know what that means? God opened heaven, and God showed Moses the heavenly temple. Because you see it? That's how I want you to make the one on earth. Watch. Exodus 26:30. Then you shall erect the tabernacle according to its plan, which you have been shown. He saw it in the mountain. What did he see? He saw a temple. What temple did he see? Get ready. Exodus 27:78. Its poles shall be inserted into the rings, so that the poles shall be on the 2 sides of the altar when it's carried. You shall make it hollow with planks, as it was shown to you in the mountain, so shall make it. You understand? He wasn't just told, he saw, he was allowed to see a temple, and he designed the earthly one after what he saw. Saw where? In heaven. Because God opened heaven to him when he was on the mountain. With me so far? Because I'm going to give you the proof from the New Testament. Does the New Testament confirm Moses saw the real temple in heaven, not made by human hands, made by God? Because when he's in the mountain, heaven opened. Here you go. Acts 7:44. Our fathers had the tabernacle of testimony in the wilderness, just as he who spoke to Moses directed him to make it according to the pattern which he had seen. Look, he's seeing something. Well, that something has to exist. And here you go, if you don't believe me. Hebrews 8:1-5. Okay. Now, the main point in what is being said is this. We have such a high priest who sat down at the right hand of the throne of the majesties in the heavens, a minister in the holy places and in the true tabernacle. Oh, so there's a true one and there's a shadow. The one on earth is not the real one, the reality. It's a shadow of the reality, which the Lord pitched, not man. And the one in heaven, God built, not man. For every high priest is appointed to offer both gifts and sacrifices. So it is necessary that this high priest also have something to offer. Now, if he were on earth, he would not be a priest at all, because the earthly temple, only Levitical priests, descendants of Aaron, could serve, and he's not a Levi. Since these are those who offer the gifts, there are those who offer the gifts according to law, who serve a copy and a shadow of the heavenly things. How much clearer can your New Testament be? You were just told that the earthly one was designed after the real one the heavenly one that God made, not man, who serve a copy and shadow of heavenly things, just as Moses was warned by God when he's about to erect the tabernacle for, see, he says, that you make all things according to the pattern which was shown you on the mountain. And finally, for this part, Hebrews 9, 22, 28. And according to law, one may almost say all things are cleansed with blood. Without shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness. Now, wait, is the earthly Jerusalem the real one? No, it's a shadow. The real one's the heavenly Jerusalem. That's above our mother, and she's going to come down. Is the earthly tabernacle the real one? No, it's a shadow. What's the real tabernacle temple? The one in heaven, not made by human hands, made by the Lord. Therefore, it was necessary for the copies. Notice, the earthly one is a copy. It's not the original of the things in the heavens to be cleansed with these, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these. For Christ did not enter holy places made with hands, meaning human hands, which are nothing more than copies of the true ones, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us. Nor was it that he would offer himself often, as high priest enters the holy places year by year, with blood that is not his own. Otherwise, he would have needed to suffer often since the foundation of the world. But now once, at the consummation of the ages, he has been manifested to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself, and it is in as much as is appointed for men to die once, and after this comes judgment, so Christ also, having been offered once to bear the sins of many, will appear a second time for salvation, without reference to sin, to those eagerly await him. As we go out with another shocker. Remember what Jesus said? He said to the Jews that your father murdered Abel. Your father murdered Abel. Fill up then the measure of the guilt of your fathers, you serpents, you brood of vipers. How will you escape the sentence of hell? Notice, he called them serpents and sons of vipers, right? Watch the language. Your fathers were guilty and you share in their guilt because you continue in their footsteps. One of those whom your fathers killed, so that upon you may fall the guilt of all the righteous blood shed on earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the sanctuary and the altar. Now, did you catch it? One of their fathers murdered Abel, but that was Cain. Cain, his seed died in the flood. Cain is not a physical father of these Jews, because what did Jesus say? You can be a Jew and not a true son of Abraham. You can be a Jew and not truly an Israelite. You can be a Jew and not be of the seed of Abraham. You can be ethnically Jewish and still be a fake Jew. Because he's not talking about physical fathers. He's talking about spiritual fathers. Okay, now watch here. Notice he said, you are serpents, brood of vipers, and one of your fathers murdered Abel. That's Cain. Now, here's what he's getting at. Why did he call them serpents? Why did he say that one of their fathers is Cain, who murdered Zechariah? Here's why. Genesis 3, 14, 15. And Yahweh God said to the serpent, because you have done this, cursed are you more than any of the cattle, and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you will go, and dust you will eat all the days of your life, and I'll put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed. So the serpent has seed. You serpents. Who? The physical Jews who reject him. You serpents, you are the offspring of vipers. Why? Because Jesus said you can be an ethnic Jew and belong to Satan. Boy, if this is not blowing your mind away, I don't know what to tell you. Now, I've done millions of sessions on these. It's all in my little playlist. So it's not the first time. So one of their fathers is Cain, who murdered Abel, because like Cain, they are serpents, meaning their father is the serpent. They are the seed of the serpent. To the serpent he said, I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise you on the head, and you shall bruise him on the heel. Now, you know who the first son, the first seed of Satan is? His first offspring? 1 John 3:12. You're not as Cain, who was of the evil one and slew his brother. The first spiritual son of Satan is Cain. That's why we're told here when he murdered Abel, he showed what? But this, the children of God, 1 John 3, 10 and 12, and the children of the devil are made manifest. So there are two children, Satan's children's seed, God's children's seed, spiritual seed. And this is spiritual, not physical. Everyone does not do righteous, not of God, as well as the one who does not love his brother. For this is the message which you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another, not as Cain was the evil one and slew his brother. And for what reason did he slay him? Because his deeds were evil and his brothers were righteous. Remember, Jesus said, do the deeds of your father, Abraham, if he's your father, but you do the deeds of Satan. So Cain is the first seed child of Satan. 1 John 3:15. Everyone who hates his brother is a murderer, and you know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him. So if you are a Jew and you reject Jesus and you're full of evil and immorality and murder, Netanyahu, over 60,000 Netanyahu, Redvan, then Jesus says, you are of your father, the devil. John 8:44. So like Cain, these Jews who reject Jesus and want to murder him and his representatives, they are serpents, the seed of Satan, making Cain their father, not Abraham. You become a seed of Satan by doing his desires. And you want to do desires of your father. He's a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. Whenever he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own nature, for he's a liar and the father of lies. Revelation 2:9, what did he say about the Jews? Those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Revelation 3:9, those of the synagogue of Satan, those who say they are Jews and are not, but lie. Can it be any clearer of what Jesus thinks of Christian Zionism, earthly Jerusalem? Can it be any clearer?